morning, class. Today we're going to talk about story elements, two parts of story elements. Elements is another word for parts. So we're going to talk about story parts. The two story parts or elements we will talk about today are characters and settings. Can anybody tell me what a character is? Anybody? Bernard? Yes, you're right. He says that a character could be a person. Okay, so we got a person. So we can say a character is our who in our story, right? Now, can anybody tell me, raise up hands, what a setting is? Anybody, any guess at all is fine. We're raising our hands. Kylie, can you tell me what a setting is? Yes, a setting could be a place. So in a story, a setting could be our where, but it's also our when. So we need to know when and where. So it could be a place and time is our setting. And characters could be who. So a person could be a character. Could anybody else tell me what a character could be other than a person? Thomas? Yes, a cat. He says a cat. So we could say animals. Animals. So we have characters could be a person or an animal. Our character is anything or anyone that can think, feel, or act. So we could say person, animal, or creature. Now let's give some examples of our settings, place and time. So can anybody give me an example of a place? Anybody at all? Amanda? You're right, school. School could be our place. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of time. We have place, now we need time. So our time could be in the morning, at night, okay, so to put our setting together, our where and when, or when and where, place and time, we can say one night at school. Okay, one night at school. So we have our time and our place. Okay, now we are going to work together. I'm going to do a few sentences with you. I am going to circle any characters that I see or hear in the story, and I'm going to underline any settings, okay? So we have this sentence. It says, the cat went to the park in the morning. I can see that we have an animal here, the cat. So I'm going to circle cat. Went to the park. This is our place. In the morning. This is our time. So we have character, place, and time. Okay, we have another sentence here. We're going to do this one and one more, and then I'm going to have some of you come up here and help me find characters and settings. This sentence says, the nurse helps people at the hospital. So I'm first looking for characters. How many characters do I see? I see the nurse. We're going to circle our characters, so that's a character. Helps people. Well, people, we did say people could be characters, so that's also a character. At the hospital. Hospital is our place. Okay, this is our last sentence we're going to do together. It says, Cameron the dinosaur eats at night in the woods. So we're looking for our characters. We're going to circle. So it's Cameron, character, the dinosaur, animal. Cameron is the name. That's our who. Cameron the dinosaur eats at night. At night, this is our when, in the woods. Woods, this is our where. So we have our characters are Cameron the dinosaur and our setting at night in the woods. I've got 3 sentences here that we can do together. I'm going to read them out loud, and then I will call on different students to come up, and we are going to circle our characters and underline our settings. Remember, characters are our who in our story. So person, animal, or creature. And our setting is our where and when. What is the place or time that the story is taking place? The first sentence says, the dog is sleeping in his bed. Now raise of hands who can come up and circle a character and underline a setting. Isaiah, can you come help me? Remember, we are circling our characters and underlining our settings. Good job. Can you tell me out loud which one is our character and which one is our setting and how we know?
The dog is the setting and the bed is the setting because he says he's going in the bed, and settings are where places are.
So setting is our place, but you said dog is our setting. All
that around.
Okay, can you tell me?
Dog is the character, and characters are the main people.
Okay.
Or animals.
Perfect. Okay, go have a seat. Okay, we're going to go on to the next sentence. It says, the police is in his car at night. The police is in his car at night. Raise of hands who can come up here and tell me. We need to know character and setting from this sentence. Thomas, can you come help me with this one? We're circling our character. Can you tell us our character as you circle it?
The police is the main character, just like in Dog.
Okay. And can you tell me, are there any settings? Where or when? Car. Where or when? Is there any when? Any setting or any character?
Well, there is a character here.
Okay. Are there any more settings? The police is in his car at night. Okay, just one word. Good job. So our setting is where?
At the car.
In the car. When?
At night.
At night. Good job. Thank you so much, Thomas. Okay, thank you for fixing that for me. And we have one more to go through. And then I'm going to explain the content objective to everyone. Our last one says, the dragon is in his room. Raise of hands. Who can come up and help me with this last sentence? Okay, Bernard, can you come help me with this? We are circling our characters and underlining our settings.
The character is the dragon because the dragon is the main animal.
Okay, or creature. And do we have a setting? Where or when? Where is the dragon?
In the room because
Okay.
he says the dragon is in his room.
Okay, so just room. Good job. Thank you so much. Okay, now you can go have a seat. Thank you everyone that helped me. I will leave this up throughout the lesson. Okay, our content objective for this lesson is that you, each and every one of you, will be able to identify characters and settings in a story at least 70% of the time. Right now, we're going to go ahead and watch some short videos to explain a little bit more about characters and settings, and then we will have a formative assessment.
Story Elements for Kids. What is a character? By Teaching Without Frills. Story elements are the different parts of a fiction story. Characters are one of the most important story elements. Can you figure out the definition of a character from the following examples? A police officer can be a character. A dog might be a character. A robot can even be a character. So, what do you think the definition of character is? Pause here to think, or keep watching to find out. Characters are the people, animals, or creatures in a story. Characters can think, feel, or act. For example, a story might be about a boy and his teddy bear. Of course, the boy is a character because he's a person. If the teddy bear is just a regular toy, then it wouldn't be a character. But if the teddy bear can think, feel, move, or maybe even talk, then it would be a character in the story. Let's see what you've learned so far by playing character or not. A nurse, character or not? Yes, a nurse is a person and people are characters. A house, character or not? No, a house is not a person, animal, or creature, so it's not a character. A cat, character or not? Yes, a cat is an animal, and animals are characters. A banana, character or not? No, a banana is not a character unless it can think, feel, or act in the story. A dragon, character or not? Yes, a dragon is a creature, and creatures are characters. So remember, characters are the people, animals, or creatures in a story who can think, feel, or act. Story Elements for Kids. What is a setting? By Teaching Without Frills. Story elements are the different parts of a fiction story. The setting is an important story element. Can you figure out the definition of setting from the following examples? The setting might be a hot, sunny day at the beach during the summertime. Or it could be a cold, rainy night at a haunted house in October. So what do you think the definition of setting is? Pause here to think, or keep watching to find out. Setting is the time and place of a story. It often answers the questions when and where. The time of a story may be in the past or in the future, in the daytime or at night, in the summer or winter. A story may take place in a school, in a jungle, in a big city, in the desert, or in a variety of other places. We can also use adjectives or describing words to tell about the setting, like if it's sunny, cold, bright, busy, or spooky. You can determine the setting of a story by looking at the illustrations and finding information in the text. Let's try it. I was walking in the park on a warm day. How would you describe this setting? The text tells you I'm in a park, it's warm, and it's daytime. The illustration shows flowers and birds and the sun. I think it might be spring. So we could describe the setting as a warm spring day in the park. So remember, setting is the time and place a story happens. What settings have you seen in stories before?
Okay, I hope those videos helped you a little bit for those of you who are still having a little bit of questions about what characters and settings are. Now we're going to start our formative assessment. You're going to have a short story, and I want you guys to circle all of the characters, any character you see, and all of the settings. So if this was my story, all in one, the dog is sleeping in his bed. The police is in his car at night. The dragon is in his room. All 3 sentences are in my story. I would circle every character. So I would have 3 characters and any settings. Remember, settings are where or when. So let's circle car for this sentence. The police is in his car at night. So we're going to underline, car and night. While my students are doing their formative assessment, I will have some of my support staff working with some students to get oral responses for my students that need that accommodation. I will be walking around the room to make sure there are no questions about the assessment, as well as providing breaks to those students that have that accommodation for this lesson, and defining any words that some of my students may have trouble defining. I will leave the explanation of what character and setting is, as well as the example, up on the board throughout the assessment.